Killer Instinct's roster is full of amazing and well-developed characters. Let's talk about one of the hottest characters, and I mean literally one of the hottest, Cinder, a walking, talking inferno lighting up the screen. Hey, this guy looks like Heatblast from that popular kids show Ben 10. But no, this guy's different. Have you ever stopped to think how he got that way? Because believe it or not, beneath all that fire and fury, Cinder wasn't born a living firestorm, and that's exactly what we're gonna find out today. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Origins and transformation. So, before he was Cinder, he was Ben Ferris. Ferris played in the big leagues of crime, like corporate espionage, grand larceny, sneaky mercenary gigs, stuff that needed serious brains and skills beyond your average thug. He was sharp, physically capable from years of shady dealings, and had a massive hunger for cash and the sheer thrill of the heist. In certain circles, he had a reputation for being dependable, clever, but ultimately, his loyalty was to the highest paycheck and himself. He snatched secrets, tech, whatever paid well, always thinking he was one step ahead. Naturally, flying that close to the sun eventually got him noticed by the biggest, baddest player around, known as Ultratech. Ultratech is the megacorp dabbling in everything from toasters to killer robots and illegal weapons development. Now, in the original Killer Instinct timeline, Ferris' luck finally cratered. He got caught, looking at serious prison time. That's when Ultratech slid in with a messed up deal. They wanted him to volunteer for some highly questionable chemical weapons tests, using his own body as the test subject, and in return, they dangled the possibility of early parole. Ferris agreed. But here's the kicker. Ultratech never planned for him to walk away normally. They staged a massive oopsie, a lab accident where Ferris got blasted with an overwhelming cocktail of super unstable chemicals and potent radiation. The result was something unimaginably painful. His whole body just violently destabilized, his very DNA rewritten by forces hard to even grasp. Instead of just dissolving into nothing though, his body went through a transformation. Flesh, bone, blood, all consumed and reshaped into a mass of superheated plasma. Basically a living flame squeezed into a humanish shape. He wasn't Ben Ferris anymore, not in any way you could recognize. He was trapped inside a constant firestorm, and his agony must have been insane. Yet somehow, his mind stayed intact. Ultratech, seeing what they had created, didn't see a tragedy, they saw a weapon. They contained him, studied him, and then dangled another twisted deal. See, another Ultratech target, Glacius, had technology and power the corporation desperately wanted. So they told Cinder that if he entered the brutal Killer Instinct tournament and successfully took out Glacius, he'd get freedom, not just parole. Driven by that desperate hope for release, or maybe already starting to dig his newfound destructive power, Cinder took the deal. His initial look in the game really captured that raw, barely contained fire, flickering and unstable. He became Ultratech's unwilling blazing champion, pointed like a flamethrower right at their enemies. Personality and attitude. There's a great difference between Ferris and Cinder. If Ferris was confident and self-serving, Cinder is pure, unfiltered arrogance. He's an infamous loudmouth with constant sarcastic jabs, insults, bragging, and just generally annoying commentary. Seriously, the guy rarely shuts up, treating even the most lethal fights like his personal stand-up comedy stage. What's really striking is that Cinder shows basically zero regret or sadness about what happened to him. He dives headfirst into his powers with total excitement. Manipulating fire isn't a curse to him. Rather, it's an adrenaline rush. Combat for Cinder is like performance art blended with a serious case of pyromania. He absolutely loves showing off, pulling flashy moves, and just soaking in the destruction he creates. He doesn't just have that little voice telling him to maybe hold back or feel bad about incinerating someone. Personally, I think it's a defense mechanism, a way to cope with the fact that he's a living inferno. Or maybe the transformation fundamentally rewired his brain and burned away any empathy. He genuinely seems to find it amusing to torch opponents and cause widespread chaos. His interactions are usually dismissive and mocking. He sees other people primarily as targets or just fuel for his massive ego. While maybe some of Ferris's cunning intelligence is still rattling around in there, it's completely overshadowed by Cinder's desire to just burn bright and be loud. It makes him one of the most distinctively obnoxious and weirdly entertaining personalities on the Killer Instinct roster. He's the embodiment of playing with fire, both literally and figuratively. Project Cinder and Ultratech's role. Alright, let's take a look at the rebooted Killer Instinct timeline from 2013. which really fleshed out Cinder's backstory and tied him way closer to Ultratech's plans, especially those of its synthetic mastermind, Aria. In this version, Ben Ferris has a special forces background, and that means top-tier combat training. He made a big mistake by taking a contract that put him right in Ultratech's crosshairs. The mission was a high-stakes job to infiltrate Ultratech's secure facilities and steal valuable research and prototypes. But even with his considerable skills, Ferris either lowballed Ultratech's defenses or just didn't count on Aria. His infiltration attempt failed, and he got nabbed. Now, for Aria, the artificial intelligence running Ultratech, Ferris wasn't a normal prisoner. She saw his resilience and his other valuable traits. Instead of simply eliminating him or locking him away, Arya identified Ferris as the ideal candidate for a super ambitious, totally unethical initiative she called Project Cinder. What Arya wanted to create was a hybrid being with powers nobody had seen before. The plan involved using stolen genetic material from the extraterrestrial Glacius, specifically targeting its unique body and control over cold energy. The procedure itself was gonna be nasty. After grafting Glacius genetic code onto Ferris's, they enhanced him with biochemical treatments and cybernetics to stabilize and unlock the potential for manipulating plasma. The fiery substance known as Cinder emerged from the other side, transforming into a living furnace with the ability to produce and regulate extreme heat and plasma. Gameplay and combat style. So how does all this backstory translate to actually playing as Cinder in Killer Instinct? Cinder is mostly a rushdown character. He wants to close the gap and just smother you with relentless speed, tricky movement, and a non-stop barrage of fiery attacks. His mobility is exceptional and absolutely central to his strategy. Cinder gets multiple air dashes, letting him change direction mid-air. This allows him to zip around the screen, making it hard to guess where he'll land. On the ground, he's got Trailblazer, which is a special move. But the real cornerstone of Cinder's unique offense is the Pyrobomb mechanic. With specific attacks, he can attach up to 2 sticky plasma bombs directly onto his opponent. These things don't detonate immediately. Instead, they have a visible timer ticking down. As Cinder continues his attack, you're under tremendous psychological pressure to cope with the explosion. Better yet, Cinder has the option to use specific special moves to manually detonate planted pyrobombs. Because you have to predict whether he'll use the bombs offensively mid-combo or let them expire naturally, this creates a variety of mix-up opportunities, including creative and damaging combo extensions and tricky frame traps. Maximizing Cinder's potential requires careful control of pyrobomb placement and detonation timing. This style is well complemented by his other special moves. Fire Flash is a common fireball that can be used to detonate or zone those bombs. Then, an essential anti-air attack and combo ender, Inferno is a fiery uppercut that frequently has instant invincibility to blow through obstacles. In order to breach an opponent's defense, he also carries command grabs and other tools. Next is his Instinct mode, which is appropriately called Fired Up. His aggressive potential is unleashed when this is activated. Brighter, more intense flames engulf his body. All of his strikes, including standard punches and kicks, cause potential damage for the duration. Additionally, if the bombs connect while Fired Up is active, it works incredibly well with pyrobombs to create absolutely devastating damage sequences. Legacy and reception. Right from his very first appearance in the original Killer Instinct arcade machines, Cinder carved out a special place for himself, rapidly becoming a cult favorite among players. In an era dominated by ninjas, monsters, and stoic martial artists, Cinder's concept was visually striking and instantly memorable. His return in the 2013 Killer Instinct reboot was met with considerable excitement. While his visual design got an update, it kept the core idea. More importantly, his revamped gameplay emphasizing speed, aerial mobility, that innovative pyrobomb mechanic, and the powerful Fired Up Instinct mode was widely praised by the community. He's often seen as a primary rival to Glacius and a key, if volatile, player in Ultratech's complex narrative. Marvelous verdict, and that's the story of Ben Ferris. It wasn't exactly a heroic transformation, more like a health hazard. Ultratech's meddling turned a man into a weapon, a force of nature born from shady science and bad decisions. But you can't deny it, he looks cool. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts about it, so head down to the comments section and let me know. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.